Hi, it's Annalie. Today I am using the Leaning Lily outline stamp set along with the coordinating stencils and the die. I thought I would videotape this because I noticed on the Altenew fan page, somebody just asked the other day about the stencils, so I just thought maybe I could clear it up a little bit. This stencil is stuck to my mat, but I wanted to show you, there's this etched line right here. And this etched line is kind of a divider so that you know you don't stencil these both at the same time. You use this line as a guide. So I'm going to line this first one up just like that, to just be sure that all of those are covering exactly right. And then I will just use my blending brush and my ink and just blend right over the stencil. Now, I could, if I needed to, just put some masking tape on here, but these are far enough away that I don't really need to do that. So this one though moves, so I'm just gonna hold that one down and just make the inside edges and this little edge right here a little bit darker. Now I'm done with that one. So now I can move, and notice the mark. Now I can move and add this one on top. And then this is the next stencil for the next part of the flower. So once you have that figured out, it took me a little while too, so you're not alone, but once you have it figured out and you notice those edge lines, it does make it much, much easier for future stencils. Sometimes the entire stencil is, you just put it on once and you're good to go, but often that's not the case. So that takes care of those two. And then I will use the next one. And this looks like leaves. Nope, that's not a leaf, that's the other part of the flower petal. And again, right here there's a line, so I know that anything on this side of the line does not go with this part of the stencil. I haven't used this before, I just opened it. So this is a very, very basic stenciling that I'm doing. I might have to come in with some accent colors just to make it pop a little bit. But for right now, I'm just showing you the technique. And then we can move this one up and add this to those little lines. And I will use a different, maybe I'll do Snapdragon just to make it obvious here. So there's that. I'm going to actually bring this one back in and just do just the inside a little bit with the Snapdragon, just to make it a little bit darker in some of those areas. Same with this bottom one. There we go. That adds a little bit of dimension on the inside of that flower. Now, looks like the leaves will be next, the stamen and some of the leaves. Just want to make sure everything is lined up. And I use the Snapdragon, so I think I'll use Marigold on the stamen and see how I like that. don't know. Frayed leaf, forest green, forest glades, maybe some green opal, which is my favorite green. One of my favorite greens. I love all green. So you can just leave it as is, like I was doing, and then come back in with just a little bit of a darker shade, just to add a little bit of dimension in certain areas if you want, like under here, towards the tips. Sometimes the tips are lighter. You just kind of add a little bit in wherever you feel like it. So that's one, and that was all just one plain stencil for that one. This one again has an etched mark, so I know that this part will be here. That goes there. This goes here. I'm matching up the leaves and the stamen up here. So I'm gonna start this time with a darker green. Now for this one, this is a little bit close, so if you want to be sure not to get any green there, you could always just put on a tiny little bit of masking tape. Same with up here. I'm actually very close to the edge. The smart thing would be to cover up this edge with masking tape, because otherwise even the smallest tiny little hit with your brush will make a mark. So you don't really want to do that. And I say it and then I keep going, and you watch at the end, I'll have marks. But I'm okay with it actually, because I am going to use the die that coordinates with this just to cut it out. So if I get ink around the edges, that's no big deal. But if you're doing a one-dimensional, you might want to just put some masking tape on there just to secure your project. And now here, this is the last stencil. And it goes just like that. I'm going to use the opal green opal. And I'm going to start down here very gently, very carefully, right by the edge, and then I'm just going to go right over it. All right, and then I am actually going to come back with this one because I do want to add a little bit of extra to the bottoms of these buds. So line that up, grab my other brush, and then I'm just going to go around just the bottoms, and I should use a smaller brush, but this is what I have out, so this is what I'm using. Oh, and I forgot to do the stamen. After I had it all lined up, I forgot this part. And this one we did with marigold. But for this part, I actually want to come in and add a little bit of sparkle. So I'm just going to add a little tiny bit of my Enchanted Gold Shimmer Relief Paste right onto the little tips right here. You can tell I like this one, it's almost gone. So I'm just going to add the tiniest little bit right in here, squishing it into the holes gently, because you don't want it to go underneath the stencil. And I'm gonna add just a tiny bit to the top of that one. And then I will have to let that dry. But that is how you use the stencils with the little embossed line. I hope that helps. Have a great day.